And I think it's bringing people up in a wrong way to where we have no clue what virtue is. The biggest virtue is just self-love, which has literally nothing to do with any of the real virtue that God cares about.
Welcome back to another episode of PPK. We are finally back at it. I feel like we were doing that a lot. Like, start, stop.
That's the way it goes.
Well, it's been a busy year.
It is. A lot of things are changing in the landscape, as you can see in the new studio.
Yeah.
It's a little different, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different background.
Different vibes.
Different vibes.
Most
Different
importantly.
vibes.
Different energy as well.
Different energies, yeah.
That's
We
what I
like to
guess
bring
is
different
right.
energies at you guys.
Yeah. Different energies. Different, changes, obviously. We got a new married man in the house.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, we're all ringed up here in the studio. So check that out for the vibes.
Checking out the married men in the studio. We got baby Gianna on the way.
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer, folks. So keep baby Gianna and my wife Michelle in your prayers because it's getting crunch time.
Yeah, our other daughter, Bria, our other daughter.
Yeah, I'm the other daughter. I'm the middle daughter.
You said Michelle. Anyway, she's my other daughter. But our oldest daughter, Bria, is pregnant with Micah Jack. So shout out to Bria and Jamie. Expecting baby number 2. Micah Jack will be coming in November. So we're super jazzed about all the things going on here.
Hey, maybe if you pray enough, I can get a baby. What do you guys think? We can try that out too.
Yeah. Hey, Colin, where's your prayers at? We need
Colin's prayers.
Colin, dude, hit me up, man.
Gracia, Sergio, all the
legends.
followers, all the legends out there that are trying to help pray for us. We
Yep.
got some stuff. We're trying to start, the 13th tribe of Judah, right? The
Yeah.
Sablan tribe.
Yeah, we need those.
Yeah, we need those. So if you can just,
Special shout out as well to Carry Your Cross.
Yeah. Shout out Carry Your Cross. Andy, our boy.
And listen, Andy, in case you're wondering why I'm not wearing it, you think I'm disrespecting you? I'm not disrespecting you. I was disrespecting those weights in the gym I was in earlier. That's what I was disrespecting. So I wore that shirt. Put it to get used already. Threw it in the washer, and there's no disrespect here.
Yep.
Weights are
was-
disrespected, though.
strength through suffering, Andy. So
I was carrying my cross in the
he
gym.
was carrying his cross. So shout out to our boy Andy over at Carry Your Cross, who's doing big things. So go give him a shout out and a like and a follow. Appreciate the gear, brother, and keep up the good work out
Yeah.
there.
Follow him on Instagram, Carry Your Cross. And you can check out the merch. You can support what the PPK is supporting today at carryyourcross.com. So, again, shout out, Andy. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I'm liking the material. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I might sleep in this. It's
Feeling
pretty
kind
snug.
of, it's
Yeah.
feeling kind of
I
nice.
might work out in it again, Andy.
So, inspiration for today, Meeks, kicking it over to you.
So today is an interesting dialogue, our favorite word. But it's just really about, I think, one of the major issues I see in Keone and my generation and kind of within society, especially today. Not even our generation, I think everyone's generation right now. And that's the issue of an insecurity that is not I don't think the insecurity that we generally describe or feel, as in like I have kind of this lack of confidence in myself. I don't feel good, whether it's I'm not good looking or whatever it is. I don't like the shape of my body, that kind of stuff. Not necessarily what we're trying to focus on today. I think it's an insecurity which comes from this new self-love and pride, really. And this insecurity is really in not understanding where your worth is at. So both of these insecurities, right? Not understanding that, you know what, my face, my looks, or my body doesn't determine my worth as a human being. My worth is within the child of God. But then we have this flip side where we're so confident into ourselves and we hide it under this body positivity where we can just freely show ourselves, essentially. And then that's supposed to be security. When in reality you're still not understanding that your worth doesn't come from how your body looks. It still doesn't come from that. So although it's good that you recognize, you know what, I'm happy with who I am, but that's still not where your worth comes from. Your worth comes from here. Your worth comes from God. The fact that he made you in his image and likeness. And then the other side, I think for men, because this is not just a woman thing, the men is the constant need to feel like we have to flex everything now. So everyone we put on a platform, right, that we think are these great people, it's just a $200,000 watch, or I got to have these shoes. I got to have the off-whites. I got to have this and that. Every time I take a picture, it's got to be, I got my Louis belt on. That's fake. And we all know it's fake, or just stuff like this that we like constantly have to put up. And the reality is someone who's secure doesn't have to do that. We don't need that attention, because that attention, one, is distracting, and it doesn't come from God. So I think both are insecure, and I think in different ways, and we can talk about a whole lot of different things of insecurity. But I think that's something that needs to be discussed more within our time and generation.
Yeah, I think you bring a great point to be discussed, because I think we live in a time of social media. We live in a time of everything's instant, multiple platforms where people feel the need to let us know how secure they are. Right? Let us know just how secure you are. And it's interesting. It's like people who hustle. Hustlers just hustle. They don't go and let everybody else know that they're hustling, right? So people who just get busy, go get busy, because they're too busy getting busy, right? Not necessarily worrying about telling us. Secure people don't have to tell you they're secure, because they don't care about what you think, right? And in some, let's be real, we're all human. So there's a bit of us, right? Because we're social beings. We want to be accepted. We want to belong. We want to be liked to a certain degree. But in all actuality, people who are very secure, specifically in the person of who they are, created in the image and likeness of God, don't need people's approval. Doesn't mean we don't struggle as Christians. Doesn't mean we struggle as as soldiers for Christ. It just means that we aren't focused on the likes and the followers and the attention. We're focused on the cross. Speaking of carry a cross, but we're focused on Christ himself. What say you, Keone?
Well, while you guys were talking, I was just thinking like what Father Archbishop Fulton Sheen, he said kind of along the lines of the more glittery and fancy the one's outer appearance is, the more impoverished and the poverty of the soul is more apparent to us. It's just a representation of what's really going on interiorly. The obsession with the material is just a sign of our broken immaterial side, our soul. And Meeks, you're kind of talking about how society nowadays has kind of not necessarily changed its perspective. It's just kind of gone to the other opposite extreme. So it went from, typically you think of the insecurity being, I'm no good, I'm terrible, but now it's like, I'm so good. My body is amazing, or my fitness is this, or whatever it is. My money, I got the BMW in the back and every picture. What I was thinking as you were saying that is like, it's not that we're trying to find the right like dial of what would be the right amount. It's that dial is the wrong dial to be turning anyway. It's like, why are you even wasting your time with that? Because it shouldn't matter at the end of the day of your physical appearance, your financial status in the eyes of your followers. And so I think when we turn away from that dial and we say, like God, our security, our identity comes from God first, then it rightly orders the fitness, what our body looks like, because we're nurturing it and nourishing it because it is the temple of God, right? And we are able to, be prudent with our money because it is a good thing to sustain ourselves and our family, right? It rightly orders those things. And so what I'm seeing is the devil just loves to, use the same tricks, but he kind of changes it here and there, just depending on the culture and our own brokenness. And right now it's just a lot of pride. I mean, we just ended Pride Month, and pride is everywhere, and the devil knows that. So he's taking our insecurity and he's masking it as pride now. And pride is a good thing when it's still the same insecurity. It's just looking differently.
Yeah, masking pride as security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you see us, there's always both and in Catholicism, right? So social media itself is not a bad thing, but when you don't contain the proper virtue, it's going to become a bad thing. And we've all felt victim to that, right? Just, being lazy, or just the fact that you're bored, or whatever it is. But without that lack of virtue, now all we do is get into comparisons. And now it's become a huge thing. I mean, I don't think guys ever really compare it. I mean, kind of in the weight room. Like, I'm like, yeah, guy's pretty massive. I'm like 5'6". And so you get into that, but then it's like this idea, like, okay, now I see these guys, I see all these rappers and doing this, like now I got to be that, because like that's like, that's whether it's cool, it's swag or whatever it is, but like that's what I want to be. And it's just a continual like lack of true understanding of like what we're supposed to be as human beings, and we've gotten like lost in this entire, I don't know, like distraction and facade of like humans. And I think we've known for a while how just because you have all these things, like, it doesn't mean that you're not empty. And a lot of them do those things because they are empty, right? We're going to the club and we're getting all these things, and we're showing all this because at the end of the day, you can't go home at night and just sit there by yourself because it's that bad for you. You can't sit in silence and understand who you are as a human being. You can't reflect. Yeah. So what are we going to do? We're going to go out and we're going to distract ourselves as much as possible. That's really what it comes down to. And I see that within a lot of my coworkers and just regular people, you know, just like, just people who don't have that same purpose and faith that we have. And you can see them kind of just interject out on different things. And right there, to me, that's a lack of security. That's a lack of peace within yourself. And I'm going to bring up a basketball analogy because that's kind of what I think, how I think in terms of, but it's like Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. And he is possibly the worst dresser in NBA history. But that guy, I mean, when you think about people who are secure in themselves, there's probably no one that comes to mind more than Tim Duncan. He didn't care about how you thought of him. He didn't care about being flashy on the court even, but he's still going to dominate you, still putting 30, 12, and 3 blocks on your head. Mm-hmm. And it's like Kawhi, same thing. Kawhi's a top 7 basketball player in the world. I bet you I can find guys who get less than 7 minutes a game having more pictures in the gym than he does, you know? And so how often do we see these people, and it's just this whole, look at me, I'm grinding. How about you just grind? How about you stop saying, look at me? But it's, once again, it's a lack of, this is insecurity, because you're saying like, no, I mean, I got to have people understand I'm grinding. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, why? Why do you need to have people understand that? Why don't you just grind? And we'll see it on the court. We can't see it in the 7 minutes you play. And it's the same thing here. All these things that people are doing, it's like, you know, people got their paycheck, they take all of it out and put it in hundreds, and then it looks cool. We can, you know, we can all do that, right? We can all just take out our paycheck and put it in hundreds and make it look cool. It's just this constant like lack of understanding of what a man is, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I think we all just lost that idea, and it's just, I don't know, it's like exhausting almost. Mm-hmm. You know, you go out and it's just hard to like enjoy yourself and keep good company these days. There's just so many people always trying to put something on, and it's just the biggest lack of peace. And we always talk about, you know, energy and vibes and all those kind of people. And it's like, dude, maybe you guys need some of that, because you're putting it in all the wrong places at all times. And it's sad. And I think it's just like leaking into our in every aspect. And I think it's bringing people up in a wrong way to where we have no clue what virtue is. The biggest virtue is just self-love, which has literally nothing to do with any of the real virtue that God cares about. Yeah. I don't think Jesus came down and said, love yourself, you know, appreciate your body and show the whole world about it, or flex your money or have the biggest outfit. It's like none of that. Rich man came up to him. He's like, well, you know, sell those things and you'll be good. Couldn't do it. So it's like, we always have to be challenging ourselves. Find out why am I so dependent on this, or why do I need to seek attention on Instagram? I think we all got to think about it sometimes. Like, why do I need to post this picture right now? Do I have attention? I have like a wife. What do I need to look for? Other things, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't need attention from other things. I got my family with me. We can all just have a good time. I think we have to continue to start asking ourselves that, and be like, what's my purpose in me trying to show this right now? Because they don't really need to see it, you know?
Well, I think there's that response that, you know, as I can see as we're having this conversation, and we've had conversations with our friends and people, you know, even on social media about, you know, those people who are flaunting themselves, or whether it be their physical body or, you know, their money or whatever, right? Flaunting themselves in some way, even their athletic ability. We would say that that's still an insecurity. And they're like, no, how could you look at the self-confidence, look at the this or that, right? How they love their body. How could you take that away? You know, and part of it is like, the issue with it is not that, you know, grinding and exercising to make sure your body looks good and having that money, going to the job and ranking that money. Not that those are bad things, but when that defines our worth, it doesn't matter whether you're in your lowest part of your life or in your highest part of your life, it's still wrong. And I think that's what we're missing is we're saying, well, how could look at this person? They're not like down on themselves and like, not exercising. Look at them. They're exercising, they're grinding. They're in the gym all this time. They're recording videos of themselves working out. They have a fitness page. Look at them. They should show off their body. Okay, great for their work. But if that's still the only thing that defines you, whether you're at your lowest state or your higher state, it's still leaving you empty.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to keep maintaining that. You're going to have to keep getting the likes, or else guess what? If you lose one of those packs on that 6-pack, or if you lose 10,000 followers, guess what? You're in the same situation you were 2 years ago. And so what we're trying to say is you're at the wrong dial. It's not where we should be. We should turn ourselves to what God says we are. And that's what Meeks, you're saying is like, why do I want to post this picture? Is it for me to get some sort of affirmation? Like, do I need to talk to my wife about it? My friends? Am I feeling insecure here? Did I have a bad day at work? Right? Whatever's going on. Am I stressed out? And I need affirmation. I need praise. Because there is some good in it that we're seeking, but we do it in a distorted way because of our pride and our vice or whatever. And I think the first step is just reflecting. Like you said, people just go to clubs all night and all weekend because they can't sit at home and reflect. But actually sitting and being honest with yourself, like, why do I want to post that picture? Why do I feel so tempted to constantly record myself on my story or tell the world everything about what my day is, or to record every single workout, or to make sure that they know that I'm in the gym grinding, or that I got the new fit, or whatever it is, right? Like, is there some good in that? It could be, right? You could be inspiring others by your grind. You could be inspiring others by your rants on your Instagram story. I mean, to some degree, there could be good, but just to reflect that, is this my worth? Because like I said, whether it's at your lowest point or your highest point, if that's what defines you, it's never going to be enough.
Yeah. And I think it becomes this whole game of superficiality, right? It's skin deep. It just leaves people empty. I mean, ultimately, we're just trying to find idols, right? We've rooted God out, and now we're just trying to fulfill it with something else. And, I go back and forth on this topic because I think, you were talking about virtue, and we've brought this up on numerous episodes about rather than being virtuous, everybody wants a virtue signal, right? Look at me. Look at how great I am. Look at how woke I am. Look at how inclusive I am, diverse I am, whatever the latest buzzword is. And then you're looking to see who's looking, right? Look, I just said that. Who's noticing me, right? Am I going to get more followers? Am I considered woke? Am I considered, hip and part of the progression of this world and culture when we're really digressing as a people because we've lost a sense of who we are as people. We can't even communicate with one another. We don't even know how to treat one another with dignity and respect. We can't even respectfully disagree with each other. If we disagree, then it's hate speech now. All of a sudden, we can't use our brain or actually follow real science. All of those things that exist, and yet people are out there fumbling around trying to figure out who they are. Which I think the great bars of NF comes to mind, right? Trying to find out who we are by being everything we aren't. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part where you see a lot of people doing that. I mean, again, we're guilty of it as well, right? We can get enticed. We know the fall of Adam and Eve, right? They saw the fruit as good and pleasing to the eye. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we're a consequence of original sin is what? Now we're going to have the pride of lust, the pride of life, those types of things that come to mind. But I don't know. I think when I think about the young people, not just your guys' generation, but even the generation that comes after you, specifically with these teenagers and these young kids that are being stripped of their purity and innocence at such a young age, being told that their body, right, they're being treated as objects rather than temples. You talk about we're temples of the Holy Spirit, but I see the effect that it's having on our youth, the effect that it's having on even on your guys' generation, to where it's like, well, no, I'm gonna show my body off to a bunch of strangers, right? The most intimate part of you. And you're giving that away to a bunch of strangers and leading them obviously to a place of vice, not virtue. And I think that's the issue that we have today is that my body, my choice, my this, my that. And it's this whole self-love, right? You can call it whatever you want. You can, you can sugarcoat it in the way you think that means like, oh, I'm confident. You just don't like seeing somebody who's standing up for themselves. And it's just like, actually, I don't really care. but you're the one that decides to post 50 million times a day about how secure you are. Secure people don't do that.
Yeah, I think about just kind of that point of like, it's almost, we are like shaming people by telling them, like, we're looking down on the women body, or we're looking down on some of these things because we're telling them that like it's holier than you think, or that's something that's more sacred than you think, or that's more pure than you think it is, and it should be guarded. And it's like, you thinking that we're coming down and hating on it, right? It's you, the woman body's this, and it's art, and you just hate it, and the men want this and that. And it's like, or we're saying that it's so valuable that it should be kept within the confines of your marriage, or something that should be shown only within an intimate setting with your husband or something like that. Or we're saying that it's so good that these people, and probably Creepy Joe over there that's 55 with the Instagram for some reason is looking at it, like, maybe those people shouldn't see it. Maybe it's like, maybe you're the one degrading it. I'd be like, have you ever thought about that? And I think that's something that's just so common, that we're just so, I think people tend to be just real defensive because they're insecure. And so it attacks them right in their core. And like you always say, oh, wow, you're telling me to change something, and then they just start steaming. And then this whole idea of like, well, I don't want to change. Like, here I am. Because at the end, like, you're just finding fulfillment in that. That's all you're trying to do. Someone's always going to have a better body. Someone's always going to have a nicer car. Someone's going to have a better watch, more expensive outfit. You're always chasing something. So it's like, if we can just deal with that and face it, like, wow, you're right. I really am chasing something that's like Kelly said, as soon as you lose, 10 followers or whatever, it's going to be like, I hear YouTube creators or content creators talk all the time about how it is the most exhausting thing to always try to get the perfect thumbnail and the perfect little clickbait title and all this stuff, and you just lose who you are, because all you're trying to do now is, how can I get views? How can I get views? Because that's the profession that you've now put yourself in. And it's the same thing with everything else. It's like you're constantly just gonna be chasing after something, and then what does that show everyone else, right? We tell everyone that it's about self-love, but everyone else just feels like crap. That's all they feel like. Well, this is all I see. This is who you guys put on the platform, right? When we look at the Grammys, we look at TV, people have more money than us, and which means they have plastic surgery and they look better than all of us, but then they tell us, no, just be you, while they fix every single part of their body, right? And while this person can't go out without the $600,000 of ice on them, but just be you is what we're telling people. And it's just the most fault. I mean, like, the fact that we put celebrities on the platform that we do is just sad, and it shows what kind of society we are and how shallow we are. But just the idea of like, what kind of impact are you making on everyone else, right? Are you truly encouraging them? There's a way to encourage people to be fit and be their best selves, and I hope we do that. But there's also a way where you and your confidence and your security are just making everyone with these unrealistic expectations feel like they'll never be able to meet it. And when they're looking at their phone, they're going to be like, well, look at all these people who get attention, right? These people get all the money. Man, that looks like a good life. Yeah. And so we're just in this cycle, right? Yeah. Guys and girls, of never understanding where our true worth is. Even though we can sit and talk about it. Like, I can be a celebrity, I can talk all I want, right? About how, hey man, you got to go out there, and I can be all motivational. But at the end of the day, these everyday people, they don't have their yacht, and they don't have someone to make them every meal. They don't have those things. So it's like, you can tell us all you want. We're going to see right through it. And all we're going to want is your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's just seeking just constant affirmation and just a difficult medium that is social media. Because think about it. Every time you post something, everyone who looks at it, all your followers are literally voting. Like in our way, subconsciously, whether we think of it or not, it's saying, am I accepted or not? That's simply it. Because you have 1,000 followers, 99% of the time, not all 1,000 people are liking that picture or viewing that video. And subconsciously, what does that tell you? Well, I need to up my followers. I need to up my likes. So I need to do something, change who I am to fit whatever it is I'm seeing on my explore page, or whatever it is that this person put that got them those 100 extra views or likes. And it's just a constant comparison. And I think if we were to step back and simply put, like you were saying, Meeks, this reaction, this like they're steaming when you check them, when you offer just a different opinion, is that they put yourself where you put everything into something sensual, something superficial. And this is like a lot of what identity politics comes to, is this idea of like, you are your ethnicity, you are your gender, you are your job, you are your whatever it is, right? And when all your worth comes in that and someone challenges it and it's something so central, emotional, then why not react?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing you valued is now being attacked. Whereas if you say my worth is in God, how can someone possibly take that away? It doesn't change. So if someone does challenge that, so be it. What are they going to do? Take away your image and likeness, your creation as in the image and likeness of God? It's unchangeable. But there's always this threat of my body is at stake, my job is at stake, my image is at stake, my acceptance is at stake. And so we are on edge to prove. When it's, like you said, Mika, it's unattainable. You're always going to be out-physiqued. You're always going to be outplayed. You're always going to be out-riched, whatever the term is. You're chasing this unending race and this unending target that's just leaving us more and more empty, and it's making us angry. Yeah. And I think, we're reading, Michelle and I we're trying to read it, kind of melts your brain, so we had to take a pause. We're reading 3 to Get Married. That's what it's called, right? 3 to Get Married by Fulton Sheen. Shout out Fulton Sheen. He's a little above my pay grade. But he was talking about the married couple, and I think this is a reflection on all of us. The married couple, oftentimes when they are broken, when they are frustrated with one another, when they are on the brink of divorce, is when they're trying to find God in the other person.
Oh, yeah.
Is when this person needs to fulfill what I'm looking for in God, love, beauty, protection, safety, whatever it is. All who God is, when we are putting that in our spouse or partner and we're trying to find it and realize that person isn't God, what do? We say, this person, I'm not happy anymore. I'm not love.
We're incompatible.
I'm not in love. Yeah, I'm not in love anymore. It just didn't work out. We go find another person, still trying to find God. And I think this is what's happening in a larger degree because marriage is broken. So what happens? Well, it can't go through marriage just because they're already broken. We're going to make our way through the job, through social media, through our fitness, through anything now. And we're going to find our God in how many likes I get. We're going to find our God in my fitness page. And when we look and we're not satisfied, what do? We start another page. Now we're going to start a makeup page. I don't know. It could be whatever, a fashion page. And we're just constantly seeking. Well, maybe, this job wasn't it. So now I'm going to start cryptocurrency and I'm going to start flexing and show you how much money I made in this past 2 weeks. Cause y'all are on your 8 to 5 and y'all are and I'm working my own salary, making, it's just constant chasing. And it's like, I'm exhausted even describing this right now. And it's like, when are we going to sit back and say, is there something deeper than that? Like, I hear you. Those are all fun. Those are great things. Like, don't get me wrong. Those are things that we can aspire to in their own place. But is that it though? Just ask yourself that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we back to our point, I don't think we're reflecting enough.
Yeah.
Of like, why are we doing what we're doing? Like, just be honest with yourself. And I don't think a lot of people are willing, because what does that mean? Like, their entire life, their habits, their perspective, that has to change. Their friendships have to change. Their daily routine has to change. And I'm wondering if we're like so far gone that it's like, oh, well, you can just do what you can, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking right now that like, it's funny how if your dignity, worth, and understanding comes from God, how everything that you do now, you become a witness. As opposed to before, when your worth becomes of that thing that you're doing, you become everyone else, and now you're just distracting and leading people a different way, right? So someone who understands their worth and they're into fitness, you can inspire other people, maybe into the faith, but not really on the, maybe not on the AA. Maybe they like, they like Mickey D's a little too much or something. And now it's like, okay, now I can step up, right? Like I want to go and do these things. I see someone who's like me. I see someone who's like-minded, or I see someone that's grounded correctly and properly, and they're getting after it in the right way. So that'll make me now want to do it right in the right way, right? Like, we're not trying to hate on these people, right? Like, we got our boy Nico. Hopefully he's watching. He's a monster. He makes me want to go up. I'm like, he's up before me, and I got work at 7 a.m. I'm like, what am I really doing? How am I really spending my hours today? Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's people that are doing it in the right way. We're not trying to discourage those. because I mean, we were obviously on social media, so we're not discouraging the platform or any of that stuff. It's like, but when you do it, if, you know, me and Keone just kept chasing what we wanted to before, my dad kept trying to chase what he wanted to before we really tried to have God at the center, then we'd be like everyone else. You never even heard of us. But because we chose now to put God at the center, and our gifts and talents can come out and we become witnesses through those, right? Yeah. Instead of us just being like everyone else in the world with the same exact gifts and talents as everyone else has. Yeah. And so now God can use you through fitness. He can use you through some sort of like, you know, I guess fashion, aesthetically. I mean, it's good to look good, right? I mean, you're a kid. You think you should look good. So at church, you think it's very appealing when people actually take an effort to look good at church. That's a nice thing to do. All those kind of stuff. I think you carry yourself as a gentleman when you look good, right? All those things. You care about how you look. I think it's good that you just don't wear no socks and slides with your toes out, curling over the edge of the sandal. No one wants to see that. You know, I think it's good to do all those things. But if those are your center, then you're going to lose a lot of people and you're going to lose yourself. Yeah. If God's in your center, then you'll become a witness and you'll lead a lot of people the right direction and to God.
Well, it's a means, not an end, right? Or you're using it as a means to, as an instrument, right? You're saying, God, use me through, like, think about how many friends we've made through basketball, like, and even through fitness. Like, you just mentioned Nico. Like, I wouldn't have had my relationship with Nico without our love for fitness. And that was an instrument to allow us to grow closer to God and grow as a brotherhood, you know? And so it's like, I think oftentimes people get that defensiveness because they're, in all of us, our pride, like we think that God wants to take away everything that we love. And it's not that. He just wants to rightly order them. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's not an end in and of itself. Those things are just a means to get closer to him. That fashion, that your fitness, what we love about it is just a little glimpse of who God actually is. But we're just too blind in our own ways to actually see that.
Yeah. So, you know, one thing that comes to mind, we just, on June 29th, we celebrated the solemnity of the Saints Peter and Paul. And the gospel reading for that day was from Matthew 16, and it's the first poll ever conducted in human history by Jesus himself. Who do they say that I am? Right? And it goes around, you know, some say, you know, one of the prophets, St. John, you know, John the Baptist, yada, yada, yada. But Jesus turns to his disciples and says, what? But who do you say that I am? And why is that such a fundamental question for us to answer? For everybody that's out there, Christian or non-Christian, whoever you are, who is God to you? And when you answer that, when like you search deep and you go beyond all this superficiality, you go beyond all these masks, you will go beyond all these little false idols we all chase every single day to find our self-worth. And you answer that like St. Peter did. Well, you are the Son of the living God. Everything else changes because your life now centers around that very reality. And when you can answer that for yourself, right? I mean, we're on a podcast called Priest, Prophet, King. Obviously, God's important to us, right? We decided we're not chasing everything else. Doesn't mean we don't struggle. Doesn't mean we're not tempted. It just means that God is first and will always be first. And then how do we do a litmus test in our house? As we always have done. Where's our priorities right now? It's supposed to be God, family, and everything else. And if it's not on that short list of things, then what are we doing? It isn't fitness. It isn't all these other things. It isn't deifying the world or our spouse or our children and putting an unrealistic expectation on somebody who's not God. Mm-hmm. So we have to kind of answer that for ourselves, you know, because as we kind of round this out, it isn't us wagging our fingers or poking your chest to say, well, you need to stop being insecure. Look at us. We're so secure. No, we're saying we all battle it. But the point of what we're trying to do is facilitate, right? And just stop in your tracks for a second to think about life. And to think about legacy and to think about really the God of the universe who wants something that you don't even understand what that's going to even entail, right? No eye has seen, no ear has heard. The heart of man, right, can't comprehend what God has in store for those who love him, St. Paul tells us. So it's just like we have to answer that question just like the apostles did today. Who do you say that God is, specifically in the person of Jesus Christ?
Yeah, just wrapping up, I was just going to say how, well, I think insecure is not being secure. Is that correct? So I think not being secure
yeah, sounds about right.
would be just really like a lack of peace, right? And we've all gone through that. Like I told you guys, I'm 5'6". These guys aren't 5'6", okay? My dad's a lot taller than 5'6". I don't know why. I don't know why that happened to me. But the thing is if it didn't happen to me, there would be two perfect people on earth, and supposed to just be Jesus. So he couldn't make me any taller. That would have been weird. Everyone would be like, wait a second. And then the Jews would have started coming to me, and then they think I'm the next Messiah. So, all right, anywho. But I think the point is like, I played every scenario in my head possible. If I was just 5'10", 6'2", D1, get all this, get all that. At a certain point, you just got to realize, dude, you're not built that way. Like, it's okay. You just got to realize you're not
that guy, pal.
You're not going to be able to go on Bachelorette anytime soon because everyone's going to roast you for being the short guy on the show. You can't do those things, and it's all right. And so I think, well, reality, like what I was getting at is like, we've all faced that, but I think we need to stop understanding insecurity so much as, oh, that person who doesn't like to look in the mirror, stuff like that. Some of you like to look in the mirror too much and it's still insecure. The whole point is there's a lack of security. That's what insecurity means, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have that peace. And I think if you constantly have to be on your phone or you're looking elsewhere and you can't sit in silence, then you are insecure by definition. Yeah. I mean, whether it's society's definition or not, I don't really care, but that's a lack of security, it's a lack of peace. So I think the best way to go about this, like reflecting that we're saying, being able to sit away from your phone is probably the healthiest thing. That's what I keep trying to do. Even on my way to work, it's like a 20-minute drive, and I'm like, you know what? What if I sat in silence? Would that be insane? You know, what if I lived like it was in 1920 and just had no music on the radio and just kind of sat there a little bit? Just like challenge yourself to do little things, because then you're like, you know, why do I need to listen to music all the time? Why can't I just, you know, kind of sit there a little bit? And so the more you ask these questions, it's healthier. Not that you're going to become, you know, say we're not perfect guys. We're just trying to help you, you know, give a little advice here and there on how we do things. But yeah, that's all I'd say is like, understand that insecurity is so much deeper than your lack of confidence in your physical features. There's a whole nother layer to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also just as, like you said, to close, it's like chasing the security that we can never attain on our own. And I think the book Searching for and Maintaining Peace hits that a lot, in that, like, you're not going to find peace by yourself, because all we bring to the table is our own sin and our pride. This is all we bring. So it's, in a sense, we're always going to be insecure with ourselves because we're not the source of our perfection. God is. And I think when we are able to focus not just on our insecurity within ourselves, but on our security in God and what he brings to the table, and we are secure in that, then our securities don't matter. Because was it yesterday's reading, or I think it was the Sunday reading, that in our weakness God is made strong, mm-hmm. and Christ is able to show his strength.
Philippians,
in our weakness. And it's like, yeah, we should be insecure, because you're not gonna go to heaven by yourself.
Not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. And so it's what better way to get through that weakness and that reality, not by just upping the ante and flaunting more of myself, but by saying, yes, I am nothing, but God, you are everything, and you want all of me. Mm-hmm. Like, what better way to find security than in him alone?
Yeah. You're not going to be able to find that peace except from the Prince of Peace himself.
Not that guy.
He's not that guy. Anything else, Mix, we got before we head out?
Yeah, you know, it's been 2 months. So why don't you know, speaking of affirmation, why don't you affirm us on this video a little bit? Show us a little bit of love. But it's just fun to be back. We had 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is sick and awesome. You know, it's nice to know. You know, sometimes we just talk and we don't even know, you know, if anyone cares. But so it's cool. It's just cool to see. We're doing Fulton Fridays. Make sure you guys check out those IGTV clips, because if you're gonna, don't even listen to us, just listen to those videos. That's all you really need.
Seriously.
Follow the Instagram. Continue to support us. Support Carrier Cross. Support other Catholic platforms. Support Patrick Coffin, who's forever banned off YouTube. Like, you know, we got to just keep supporting each other. And, you know, we talked about House Divided before, and just about, you know, spreading the love, man. And we're about good vibes and energy on this one. So why don't we just feel those back this way as well?
Yeah, you know, as Meek said, please share, like, comment, subscribe. Not that we need them, because we're secure, right? We're secure in he who made us in his image and likeness. So thank you for joining us on this episode. We appreciate the patience as usual. And more importantly, we appreciate your prayers for us and for our families. Keep praying for us. We'll keep praying for you. And you know how we do it. Get holy or die trying. Peace.